Hello and welcome to the Trade Game channel. My name is Daniel and this is February 1st. And we're going to be talking today about trading cryptocurrency, specifically Dogecoin. Um, so, Dogecoin is one of these coins that we are trading long. If you're new here, I am primarily a grid trader, or that's what I've been sort of focusing on lately in terms of what I'm doing actively with my trading. There were 5 times bots going long with 5 times leverage and 8 times leverage on Dogecoin. I'm running a grid up to $1, going down to what is about 22 cents. I think. Oh no, excuse me. Yeah, around about 22 cents, which is actually, it really set the grid a little bit higher than I probably should have for this one, and I do that occasionally, but it's all right. By setting, if you are going to grid trade, setting your grids a little bit too high like that kind of spreads out your investment in your grid trading setup, which can hurt your grid return on entry levels. Uh, Return on investment, I should say, levels, but it's not the end of the world or anything if you do that. It's um, just understand that that is a little bit higher or wider than you would usually set a grid if you were doing that sort of thing. Well, anyway, but we're going to talk about what I think is happening with the price of Dogecoin. So looking at the weekly chart here, Dogecoin had a big pump up, a big bullish impulse in November following the election. A lot of cryptocurrencies did because we had very pro cryptocurrency results here in the States. And we have since then come down, and it would appear perhaps mitigated or entered this fair value zone, which may be enough to prevent us from needing to go back down there again, although it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. We could easily come back a little bit further, but we'll have to see what will happen here. Yeah, okay. So that is why I set that where it was. So the reason I did not extend this fair value area that I have marked out here all the way down to here, as it would be on the weekly candle, is because if you look at the daily candle, we had some really a reasonably fair bit of price exploration in that area, and so in terms of the price of the market being drawn down to fill in or to alleviate that inefficiency, we've done price exploration here. We have price history here, and so really it's more this area that we would see would be of interest in terms of the market trying to alleviate its own inefficiencies and do price exploration. But we did come down and revisit this level, and for some people they would say that's enough, it's mitigated. And I maybe perhaps would not necessarily expect to enter a long trade down here now that it has touched that gap, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't still be aware that that's down there. I'm not 1,000,000% sure why I set this red line up here. I must have done that previous session. My guess would be that's a high from during the bear market or something, and Dogecoin just hasn't gotten back up to it yet. Though it may soon. I do think Dogecoin likely has a pretty bright future ahead of it, just given the amount of attention it's sort of been getting lately. So, on the daily, it appears that after our pump, it looked to me, we're forming a bit of a wedge. We had highs here, then a lower high here, and then we had this low set here down in our fair value area, and it looked to me like we had perhaps set a new higher low here. In any event, I did mark out with this orange level, I think, an area that I speculated might have an area of support for Dogecoin. And it does look like on the daily chart, it does look like we kind of got to this area, this line that I marked out here or roundabout, um, and then did actually have a pullback up to fill in some of this liquidity, fair trade kind of area before moving down even further. So it does kind of look like we actually did hit some support there, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a reversals point. Um, I am certainly myself going to hope that we don't get down to 27.5 cents, as that's the liquidation area where my higher leverage Dogecoin bot will get liquidated. I have it 8 times, a bot going long with 8 times leverage and a bot going long with 5 times leverage on Dogecoin. Although the one with 8 times leverage, with its liquidation value here at 27.5 cents, I started with about the amount of money you would use to buy a sandwich. So it's not really like a big deal if that bot gets liquidated. But it would be nice to have it continue to run, just to see how it does. I'd prefer if it didn't get closed out and have me lose my money. But anyway, so, okay. On the daily chart, let's kind of take a look at this. We have gotten below where I had previously thought the wedge might be forming. Although we could always set a higher low relative to here, and it's possible that I just set this prematurely and that this low was just an internal low and that this may need to be moved down. But until we actually form that lower low, or higher low in this case, kind of hard to tell. So this is a bearish looking sign for this one, for this coin, and I don't know if I would necessarily want to enter a position right now. You could, of course, short since it's broken below this higher low here, but it's already started a downwards movement, and it may reverse directions. It may find the support in this area. So I don't 100% know that I would necessarily want to do that. It may set a higher low before reaching this level around 26.2 cents, or it may not. We'll just have to kind of find out. Looking at the hourly, what we are looking at on the hourly is to see if perhaps we're finding some significant support and or resistance around either this level I have marked out here, or around this trend line that we speculatively thought might be the bottom of a wedge. So are we seeing any real indication of support? Well, had a little bit of support here, a little bit, but that seems to have not held up. Yeah, no, I what I would say is that I'm looking for Dogecoin to go long and or to go higher. And you could short if you wanted to try a scalp trade and say, oh, it's good, it's been going down. We expect it to go down and form maybe a higher low here, or perhaps even break to the downside if you wanted to short. But what I will do, if just for funsies, is set up a paper trade on this one long, and we'll see if it hits. More because, not necessarily because I necessarily want to swing long trade this one, but because that's what I'm looking for it to do, and I speculate, as I don't really think the Doge is going to hurt too bad. I mean, as much as it could come down and do price exploration in these areas, it really could. Um, I am bullish on Dogecoin overall, and so that being the case, what I would say is that we could speculatively, for the purposes of doing our trade game here, that's the name of the channel, um, enter into, say, along. If it breaks over this higher high, we could say perhaps that might take that as a reason to enter along. Although, do we really want to use that level? Is my question that I'm kind of wondering about. Um, what I might speculatively say here, we got a pretty good ways to go. I might use this high from this day instead of using just this last candle. I want to see it push a little bit further above and not just get up here and just play around with this level, but actually push through it. And so let's say that if Dogecoin can break this high, then let's enter along at that time. Doing that, we need to break that high, go a little bit above. Ooh. Yeah. And set our stop loss. Let's set it, say, at this level of support. Here, if it gets below there, we want out of the trade. And can we get up to $1.50 with our risk reward ratio without it? Okay, well, and so if we were going to do this, usually with risk reward ratios, I would just sort of like to use 1.5, 1.5. And I would probably go with that again on this one, or that's what I would probably go with here. Roughly right around there for our risk to reward ratio, 0.5, and that actually I do think is a pretty good level for this. Around 40 cents would be our take profit. This way, you would enter this long after it breaks this low or high here. And then you would exit the trade, or you would set a stop loss at this level, so that if the price came back down, it would hit the stop loss and you would close out your trade right around the 1.5 risk to reward ratio level. And so the price doesn't necessarily actually have to come back up and break through this line for you to hit your take profit level. And it also doesn't have to break and make a higher high for you to hit your take profit level. And so that would at least give you a level at which you could safely set a limit and say, okay, the price is up over here, and if it falls down below here, then we're just going to take profit and exit the trade. Or if the price is up here and continues up, then great, and we don't have to worry about it. So that's my little speculative, just for fun, trade that I'm going to set up here for you guys if you're interested. And what I will do, and you can also do this yourself in TradeView, this is you don't have to pay to use this website, is just set these up and just watch and see if your positions would have been successful or not. So we would suggest, or I'm going to propose, just for funsies, a long position. Here is your entry price and your take profit level and a proposed stop loss level for that. All right, so that's just kind of my take on it. I couldn't really tell you which direction Dogecoin is going to go. It might come down. The market might want to come down and try to satisfy some of these areas where it didn't have a chance to do price exploration. But this area has kind of been touched in before, so it may be that that's enough for the market. We'll just have to kind of see what happens. So I've set up a potential long trade if it does get up to that level. You could, as I said, if you wanted to scalp, try to do a short as it's coming down and looking for support. But that is, of course, up to you. Scalp trading with higher leverage is something that is really for experienced traders only. I wouldn't try to do it unless you've had a lot of practice, and you wouldn't want to be in the trade for very long either. Whereas stuff like this that I'm doing is more of a swing trade. This is something that I could set up and then I would just leave it alone afterwards, and it would either succeed or fail. Um, for somebody like me who has a full-time job and has life outside of trading, I can't just watch the market all day. So this sort of thing is fun for me. But I know other people will sometimes like to do little scalp trades and stuff, and try to work that way. Anyhow, so this is what I think has been going on with Dogecoin going back through November. This is what I sort of expected to happen. I would not be surprised at all if it did set a higher low here and then start coming back up. And we may have to adjust our wedge here to reflect a higher low soon. But we'll have to just kind of see, because it hasn't really found support yet, and so we don't know. It's possible that this is a legitimate wedge and it's just breaking to the downside now. Um, but that's sort of my take on it. All right, so this is the Trade Game channel. This is Daniel. It's February 1st. We've been talking about trading Dogecoin and where I think the price action may go. Thank you for watching and listening. Please do like the video and click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. We love to hear from you. Yeah, God be with you. Please be good to one another, and I will talk to you later.